here is one that you're going to hear a lot. And I know Jonathan and I both, we even have some differing views when it kind of comes to this. But it's the word inference. So inference, you have, the definition is basically this: a logical conclusion drawn from evidence or reasoning rather than explicitly stated information. Best way I can kind of put an inference is you see one over here and one over here, and 1 + 1 = 2. So you kind of draw that line and you make that inference that, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. It's where you see two different things, and then it's going to eventually come to a certain point and meet up there. That's an inference. It's based off of reasoning and fact and things of that nature, but it may not be explicitly said in the Bible. A example of that could be inferring God's omniscience from the passages that demonstrate his knowledge. Like, we know that God, foreknew everything, period, before the very foundations of the world. Why? Because he's outside of time and space. That is an inference that we as Christians make, even though it doesn't say, I am God who is outside of time and space. We know God created everything, so he created time and space. We infer that he created time and space and he is outside of it.
Yeah, that's a great example.
It's an inference right there.
That I laid in bed and I thought of this. I had to hop up and write it down. It says inference can or could be defined as an opposite conclusion. It's just a conclusion opposite. And so, and I always use this example, Newton's laws of motion. One of his laws of motion, I believe it's the third one, it says that every action has an equal or opposite reaction. And I've always assumed that every Bible verse has an equal or opposite meaning, even if it doesn't explain it. An example I always use is in Genesis 2. It says, and for this, he shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his spouse. 100%. And if I told you that, you would agree. It's right there in the Bible. But also, I would infer the opposite of that being leave them alone and let them be married. Because they're supposed to, you're the family, you're the parents, leave them alone and let them cleave to each other. It is your responsibility as a parent to allow them to cleave together and quit getting in the way. That's an inference. That's not scripture. But you're going to hear that.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that your inference is always going to be correct. There could be various disputes on that. But at the end of the day, you need to realize that the person who is inferring this has a biblical reason for why they are inferring it. They're not just pulling it out of outer space and just saying that's a different definition, which Jonathan is about to hit up actually right now.
Yes, and that word is assumption.